South Island Sea Kayaking, and we are recording this for our YouTube channel later. We're really pleased to have Best Coast Outfitters. We have Lee Richardson, Asger Pjetursson with us tonight. They'll be making a presentation shortly and taking it away. But I just wanted to say, by way of introduction, I think we've gotten to know these guys, but one of the advantages of if there are any advantages to having, the last few years pandemic was we had some changes. And the Best Coast Outfitters is a whole new thing here in Victoria. Retail, coaching, brings some new talent to the waters and to us. So I think it's a great opportunity. And I know they're already starting to innovate, do some things that haven't been done before with our local kayaking community. So I hope you look into them if you haven't yet. If you know about these guys, then I know you'll be paying close attention as they tell us about the specifics that they've got planned for this year. So with that, I'll just turn it over to you, Lee, and you, Asger, take it away. Thanks.
I think I'll start. I think a lot of you already heard a little bit about the story of how we started, but earlier, like before the pandemic, as Ocean River was starting to wind down on retail sales, I was getting asked to get students things and try to find equipment for people. And as that started to happen, I realized that there was going to be a little bit of a void in the market. And we started with some online sales and some programs that we did kind of in conjunction with Cloud9. And we're still working really closely with Jared and Cloud9 on the East Coast, and we'll continue to offer programming with him. Jared's running a resort right now, and he's very, very busy, especially with hurricanes and snowstorms and all those kinds of challenges. And it's been great to keep up with them, but there was lots of challenges around like East Coast and West Coast timing of things. So we're kind of spearheading all the programming from the Best Coast store here in Victoria now, at Quadra and Yates, as Alan mentioned. Yeah, so we just kind of wanted to fill that void and noticed that there was an opportunity for us to carry a few things that weren't being sold in the Victoria market. And we've continued to add a few things as well. We just added dagger kayaks, and we're going to be adding some whitewater kayaks as well in the next little while. I think that kind of leads us into programming, and Asger's got a few things to tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely. So most of you will know that we offer a discount on all of our training courses for all of you Siska members. So that discount is, it's in the email that Alan sent. It's 15%, and it's really easy. You just apply a discount code upon checkout. I just wanted to quickly show you a bit about how to access what courses we provide. And I'm going to try to share my screen. Hopefully you can see something now. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, so this is our website, and at the top menu, we have a category called training courses. And in here, we just added a nice calendar view. Just wanted to quickly show you that this is an option to see what we have coming up. So in February, we have a pool session, and we have a level 3 preparation course. And of course, you can also go to the other menus here. I'll leave you to explore all these, but I am going to quickly tell you about, yeah, we were going to show you a short video about the West Coast Adventure. I left a link in the chat if you want to save that one for later, the chat here on Zoom. But I think Lee can tell you a bit about what the West Coast Adventure is all about.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to chat about that. We've done the West Coast Adventure. This will be the 3rd time, I guess. And we get the lodge for 3 nights up at Discovery Island for the portion that we're at Surge. and we get some pretty nice accommodation in Port Renfrew for the 2 nights that we're there. When we're in Port Renfrew, we try to do both sides of the bay. There's some quite nice caves on the north side, and then there's some nice kind of slots and kind of rock gardening on the other side. It's kind of our warm up to Surge, and then we head up to Surge for 3 days. At Surge, we won't be just surfing. If you watch that video, you'll see that we're in a few different types of environments. We really try to customize the challenge to the level of the participants. And with a couple instructors there, we can break things up and kind of move things around so that people can be with different groups and going to features that are amicable to their skill level. It's a lot of fun. It's especially nice to have the Discovery Island Lodge right there. We have the sauna, the fire's going. Asger and I will make you dinner 3 times during the trip as well. And we try to do kind of local foods. Last time I had some venison, and we had chanterelle, risotto, and things like that. So we try to make like pretty nice meals on the ones that we make. And I don't know, Asger, am I a good cook? Do you like my food?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of a nice part of it too, to have those group meals. In the evenings, we also do a little bit of teaching as well. This isn't as heavily on the teaching as like maybe a level 3 course or something like that, but we'll cover some of the same topics, and we're happy to customize things. If there's stuff that the students really want to learn on that trip, we'll spend some time in the evening talking about and going through some of those lectures that we would on like a level 3 or a level 2 course. It's a lot of fun. We provide all the transportation too. So once we all meet up in Victoria, we have the trailer on the van, and we kind of head to the to Port Renfrew, and then we drive through the mountains all the way up to Duncan, which is kind of a nice drive, and then go to Quadra Island to have some fun at Discovery Island Lodge. It's a really good time. I'm excited about it. I'll leave it over to you again, Asger.
All right. Yeah, so one other thing we've offered here in the new year is memberships of the Rough Water Club. So those will be $50 a month and a 3-month minimum subscription. So that's $50 a month, and you get a 2-hour on-water session with instructors, and you get a monthly guest speaker event, and you get access to members only events and discounts on gear and training courses. You're all members of Siska, and you already get 15%. So it will be, you already get a great discount on that, but you get a small discount on gear as well. The Rough Water Club is for all people that want to challenge themselves in conditions that are a bit different from flat water experiences. Yeah, we also have a nice event this Saturday for we are going whitewater kayaking with South Island Whitewater Kayaking Club, and there is a discount for the members of the Rough Water Club. For the normal price is $170, and we offer it for $130 for members. Yeah, I think that's all that Lee and I had planned for our presentation, and we'd love to answer any questions you may have for us.
Okay, great. So it's open for questions. Anybody have something they want to know more about? I think that the Rough Water Club is definitely a new wrinkle.
Can you explain more about that Rough Water Club? Like, you get 1 2-hour lesson, and what else do you get? I couldn't quite hear it all.
Yeah, on the 3-month package, you would end up with 3 coach sessions. So essentially for $150, you get 3 coach sessions, you get 3 guest speaker events, and we're also going to do some paddles outside of that. So when we're just going like paddling with friends, we're going to have some of those that we end up inviting members of the Rough Water Club to as well. So we're looking for conditions and people that want to paddle in conditions. So in wind and current, we love surf as well. We spend a lot of time at Jordan River, so I'm sure there'll be some trips out there as well. Maybe Port Renfrew.
Here we go. I'll just start. Hi, Lee and Asger. Nice to meet you, Lee. We haven't met you before, but we've certainly seen a lot of Asger in your store on Yates Street. I think the Rough Water Club is a fantastic idea. That's, innovative. So I don't have, one of the questions I have is what are the different locations you'd be looking at for the paddling experiences? You may have covered it, but I missed it.
It'll be different every month. We'll pick kind of spots that will give us the conditions that we want to when we want them. And sometimes you can't predict the weather or anything like that, but we'll probably be going to Tillicum, we'll go to Baines, we'll go to Trial Island. Like those will be the local spots, maybe off of Whiffin Spit, Race Rocks. There's a lot of different places around here. Like ultimately, I would love to be taking the Rough Water Club everywhere. I'd like to get it up to Gabriola Pass at some point too. That's a great spot to learn currents. So though, and we will have some trips up to Surge and places like that as time goes on and the group builds a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
We just had a question in the chat from Edgar. He asked us if whitewater kayaks are available for our whitewater trip this Saturday. And yes, that's included in the price. You get a whitewater paddle, you get a whitewater kayak, and you get a whitewater spray skirt. So all of those are included in the price for the whitewater day we're having on Saturday.
Yeah, we also are including the transportation on that. So we'll meet at a location in Victoria and drive you up to Lake Cowichan or the Chemainus, depending on which river they end up selecting. That'll be based on flows, but it'll be kind of like, we're looking for kind of like class 1-2 conditions. We're not going down the main part of the Cow, like through Marie Canyon or anything like that. It'll be the sections that people kind of do in tubes most of the time, but it'll all be instructed and a course that's put on by Vancouver Island Whitewater Kayak Society.
That's all day Saturday, this coming Saturday?
Yeah, that's Saturday. Yeah. A week from last Saturday. Yeah, the Saturday coming up.
I wonder when you say that you're going to the areas of the Lake Cowichan or the Cowichan River that, because I went last February on this 2-day South Island kayak learning session on the Cowichan River, and it was really good. I couldn't roll at the time, knowing I was pretty new to the whole thing. Actually, that kind of was what made me interested in kayaks in general. But the parts of the river that we ended up doing on the second day, there's 3 areas that were pretty easy to tip. And tipping is such a drag in those whitewater kayaks because you end up basically just capsizing, and then you're in you're in the rough areas and you're floating down the river. You're trying to grab your kayak, you're trying to grab your paddle, you got the guys that are trying to help you out, you're trying to grab branches to keep yourself from going too far down the river. It's quite something. So this area that you're thinking about doing, is it like sort of that area where there are at least 2 or 3 fairly substantial places that you got to get through without tipping, and it's fairly easy to tip?
I think you'll find this should be, what you're describing sounds to me like maybe part of Marie Canyon, or just like the top of Marie Canyon. This part that we're going go like that Harry described is more like class 2. So it would be like dialed back a little bit from there. It would probably be more like where you were on the first day of that course that you're describing.
Okay, so it's kind of like there's current and you got to get into the current and you got to tilt in such a way that you're not going to tip, and then playing around in the currents and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing too, it's not like it's going to be really, oh my God, look at this white water I got to go through now. And right.
Yeah, it'll be catered to people's level. It'll definitely be more
Okay.
relaxed. We're not going into any class 3 stuff as far as I know. Like
Okay, so
what
maybe
Harry
maybe that's
described.
what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. On that note, I mean, I really like doing that whitewater stuff, but I found it, pretty nerve-wracking. But now that I know a bit more about kayaking, I feel like I want to actually buy a whitewater kayak. And I've been looking at different brands and types, and I think that the kite type that I want to get are more along the long lines of they're creek boats, as opposed to play boat or whatever, all these different, types, right? So you're going to get you're going to get sort of generally, are you going to get creek boats in, or you're going to have just a whole different kind of variety of boats?
Yeah, so
When
what we'll be getting is whitewater kayaks from Dagger. And right now we have the Rewind and the Code incoming. The reason why we chose this is because we asked local whitewater paddlers what models were popular in our area, and this is their recommendations. That being said, if you had any other preference, we'd be happy to do the best we can to get the exact boat you wanted.
So that was a Dagger Rewind and a Dagger
Code.
How do you spell that? Code?
CODE. Yeah.
Okay. I think I was looking at a kind of a Wave Sport diesel, but anyway, I just know that it's probably going to be more like a creek boat and fairly easy to roll and stable and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, lots of the new boats are kind of like potato shaped, and they're great for just like bouncing through everything, and they're very forgiving. Crossing eddy lines is a little bit easier in them. They're quite nice compared to the old like half slice models that they used to have. People still do paddle the half slices, and more like experienced paddlers will go for the half slices because you can do tricks and stuff with them. But definitely the creek boats are a lot of fun because you can pretty much get through anything on them without getting swallowed up. They have a lot of volume.
Yeah, like they're not so short, and you're not going to be doing 180 or 360s with them and popping up and down like what do you call them? There's lots of tricks you can do on those tiny little play boats, right? That it's not so much creek boat oriented, but the creek boats are kind of like, I don't know, they're more up my alley, really, I think.
Yeah, what we're hoping to do on the weekend is just an introduction, and it's just to like get some skill building on skills that you don't always apply to sea kayaking, that you get forced into when you're whitewater paddling, which is kind of nice. It's kind of fun. It's nice to have the cross skills. I know when I started whitewater paddling, it upped my game in the ocean big time.
I can imagine.
Lee and Asger, it's Alan. Maybe I could just ask about the Rough Water Paddling Club again. Is there a way that people can be, like you would know what level people can manage? Do you do sort of an initial review or something of people's skills as they get into that? What's your plan there?
Yeah, so right now we have it that way that we know a lot of the paddlers already that are members of the Rough Water Club, but we've put a criteria that it requires assessment of appointed Rough Water Club members. So we will appoint members that can assess new members of the club.
Yeah, and we're looking like we kind of have a range of different levels there right now. I would say from kind of early to mid level 2, all the way up through to level 3 paddlers, or level 4. We have a couple even level 4 paddlers, I would say, in the group that have had experience with a lot of big water in their lives. Some with whitewater backgrounds, some have just paddled sea kayaks quite a lot.
Sounds like a good mix for learning.
Yeah, it's awesome. And what we're hoping to be able to do is stimulate some of that community around it. And when some of these more experienced paddlers are going, they're bringing along some of the people that aren't feeling as good about making decisions and stuff like that, just so that there is some continuation. And what I noticed from like teaching some of the currents courses and stuff, people are often saying, oh, I want to do more of this, but I don't have someone to paddle with. So we're trying to be the catalyst of that as well. Just have like regular bumping grounds for people to meet other people that are kind of like-minded and wanting to paddle in rough water.
Great, thanks.
Hey Lee, got a question for you about the introductory whitewater trip you were just describing. It wouldn't necessarily be something that I'm drawn to, but I'm kind of intrigued by, so if your description and how it lends to, good crossover skills to, to ocean kayaking. Is this trip, so if you're doing a one-off, or do you envision maybe, offering these a couple times during the year? Just curious about that, or would you just gauge the interest?
Yeah, we're just trying to see how interested people are. I know Asger was like interested in whitewater paddling as well and hadn't done much of it. And we just knew that some other people in the club were interested in it, so we thought we'd give it a shot. I guess whether or not we do it again will depend on the success of it and if we see that there is interest. We're hoping that we get some crossover too, and that we get some of the whitewater paddlers ending up and joining our club as well, and sea kayaking a little bit. That's the hope with all of that. Going back and forth with them a little bit, trading some days of instruction.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
That rough water club, that's going to continue on, because I just got back from snowboarding and I royally screwed up myself. Boulder, rough water thing. You're gonna continue that, right?
Yeah, we're hoping to keep it going like all year round, except for we kind of decided like July and August, people have a lot of trips planned and stuff like that. So we may take a little break in
right.
July and August and run it kind of September to June, kind of with the school calendar.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
If there's interest through the summer, Asger and I might be able to keep her going through then too.
Lee and Asger, I wonder if you could talk a bit about the store. One of the problems we've had here is it's really been hard to get gear, boats and other gear. And I'm wondering if you're having that issue yourselves, or you were talking about getting some boats there. Are you able to order stuff in? Do you have reasonable supply inventory? How's that working?
So it's been going pretty well at the store, and we've added a bunch of new equipment. As some of you may know, we started sharing the location with Grove Outdoors, and we've been growing so much, both of us, that in December they moved out. So now we are just a kayak store, and there is already a bunch of new stuff in, and there's more to come. We do have options to get new kayaks in. We have supply, but it is always with kayaks a bit of a wait, because we can't just order one kayak and have it shipped. It has to be part of a larger delivery. So sometimes there is a bit of a wait. Yeah, we do the best we can to have kayaks in stock for all of you.
We're not having as much trouble getting stuff as like during COVID, Alan. Like we are definitely able, like we're not seeing the same types of supply chain issues. Some of the major brands are still not taking on new dealers. We lost Snapdragon, like that was kind of a sad consequence of COVID, I guess. I would have really liked to be carrying them if we had the chance. But we're getting new lines and new stuff in all the time. We're really excited to get NRS in the new year. We'll be getting more and more of that stuff in the upcoming weeks. And we just keep adding more and more small things too. Like we've gotten compasses and chart cases and things like that. And we've brought in the Helinox chairs. Asger loves this stuff, and he has done a great job of like sourcing things and getting them into the store.
Yeah, I love kayak gear. So getting to make the store look nice and full of nice items I like, that's one of my favorite parts of the job.
Great, thanks.
Do you guys down at the store, do you have any of that Wild Coast Publishing, those marine books and charts that I see are for sale on sites, you know? They're specifically, a lot of them are for, you know, Vancouver Island, Desolation Sound and the Broken Group and all that kind of stuff. There's those laminated maps, and there's books. You know, do you know what I'm talking about?
We have some books of Broken Group. We have like a Broken Group guide. We have a few books in store. We have another book that we just tried to order from the States about kayaking, but we don't have those Wild Coast ones. From what I understand, the first edition isn't in print anymore, and I'm not sure if they're printing the second edition right now either. But I don't know about their maps and stuff like that, but we could look into getting those types of things. We definitely don't have them right now.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting anyway. It might be something you want to look at, because it'd be easy to go down to your store, and then if you're going to go to the Desolation, you know, you can pick up a nice little laminated map of the whole area, you know, and help you out type thing.
That's a really good idea. I'm gonna look into it. George, thank you for the tip.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'd rather
I'll give
buy
you
them
another
off you
tip,
guys than
Another tip, Asker, is that John Camantis, who runs that, he's coming down on February 22nd of the month. He's talking at our monthly meeting for Siska. So if you ordered something, maybe he could bring it, save you some, you know, post costs or whatever, if you're trying to sell them through the store.
That's a great tip. Thank you. I'll be in touch with you, Alan, about that.
I don't hear any other questions, but I seem to have a few questions. So I was intrigued by your maybe Lee was mentioning that you go out to Port Renfrew, you sort of van it out there with everything, and then go from there up to Surge and do the course, or you know, spend a few days up at Surge at the bigger rapids there. So how long is that whole you know, event? Well, how is this, like we're talking 5 days, or do you have that sort of information in your head?
Asger, you want me to grab it? I just want to make sure that I give you guys the right dates. I think we put it up to 6 days in total. Because we try to slide in a Jordan River Day too, if it's available. Like if the Waves are good at Jordan River. Last time we went to Jordan River and had a good time. They were like perfect size for people to learn on. And lots of people caught a ride, which was a lot of fun and exciting.
Oh, I see the training course, West Coast Adventure, Port Renfrew and Surge Narrows, $1,500, and yeah, quite a few days. Yeah.
I think it's the 19th to the 25th, if I remember correctly. So we would meet early in the morning on the 19th.
April.
May, I believe. Or is it? No, this one's in April. Yes.
Yeah.
The next time we're out at Surge is in May. We have another course. We have an all ladies course as well at Surge. And a level 2. Just looking up that. Here we go. Currents.
Yeah, you're looking for the dates for the
Yeah,
for
the
the
West
May
Coast
course?
Adventure.
yeah.
I just want to make sure that we have the right dates. Do you have it there?
Yes, I do. It's from the 19th to the 24th of April.
Mm.
Perfect. Okay, so it's 5 days. 5 days. We have 3 days, 2 days at 2 nights in Port Renfrew, and then 3 nights in at Discovery Island Lodge. And we start off at Port Renfrew, so it's kind of 3 days there. We'll have the first day on the way up. That's when we would grab Jordan River if we could. And we could always go back if we ended up doing one of the sides on the first day and then go back to Jordan River if we wanted to try to squeeze it in. And then 3 nights up at Surge. On the last day, we would leave Port Renfrew and go up to Surge Narrows. That would be a travel day. Usually we try to get on the water at the end of that day if we can, and do like a stroke session or a little bit of a workshop. And if we're at Surge, we'd probably go in the current if there was some to play in as well, since it's so close to the lodge.
Sounds good.
That's pretty
Thanks.
good. Eh? $1,500, and that includes accommodation, a bunch of meals, travel. You know, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good time. Like you're all
I
together.
wish I wasn't injured. Yeah.
It's a fun one.
What about
it's my favorite
sleeping
trip.
arrangements? Do I get to be in a room with a bunch of people or what?
At Discovery Island Lodge, there's some shared rooms. I don't know if you've been there before. At the accommodation in Port Renfrew, we try to spread it out. I think there's 1 or 2 rooms that are shared. But there's lots of room in them. You would just have 1 or 2 people in the room with you.
Yeah. No beans.
Yeah, chili. Having chili. Yeah, last time with the sleeping arrangements, it worked out really well because with that one, we get the whole lodge, but all the rooms aren't full. So most people do get their own room. It's nice. I love having the sauna and stuff available, jumping in the ocean and going in the sauna. And it's got the outdoor showers too, which is kind of a nice option to be able to shower off at the end of the day.
Do you take whitewater people on that too?
We could. I would definitely be open to it. We kind of screen the people a little bit, have a chat with them, see what their experience is, and then just see how it's going to fit. And then we can always like plan to fit them in, especially if it's a full group with 2 instructors on the trip. Then we will split into groups and be able to have groups based on level and stuff like that to make it appropriate. we will still have fun no matter what. I'll tell you that. It's such great locations. That video is pretty good. I wish we could have shown it to you guys because it kind of gives you a taste and it shows you that it's not all like you guys were asking about the whitewater. Is it going to be like overly intimidating? And it's like challenge by choice. Everything's a choice to go in it or not or skip it. And a lot of the places have options at different levels. So you don't have to choose to go in the cave when it's a big, huge wave. You can go in and get out before a giant one comes, sort of deal. There's always a chance that you could get caught, but like last time, I think it was less than a meter swell. Like it was just a little bit of swell and it was great for the students that we had. Perfect, actually.
So you've put the link in the chat there. People can go to it, but do you want to try it again? Just see if it works.
Yeah, sure. We can give it a chance.
I'll post the link in the chat one more time in case anybody.
And I
If
can
you're going to
try,
go to that, oh, sorry.
I can try sharing the screen here and see if the video works or if it's just too choppy.
It's a bit jobby here.
I see most of those kayaks are very maneuverable types. I wonder if you got some, 19 footer, if you should be doing that.
I don't know. How did it work? Was it blotchy?
It was good.
Oh, it worked?
A bit,
Oh,
but it was good.
good. Yeah, that it kind of gives you a taste of it. Like it's not all crazy conditions that are scary for everyone. Lots of learning going on and lots of challenges, but kind of calculated. And yeah, no one had any big problems or anything. We had a lot of fun. We had a full group of 6 last time from all over the place. Some people from Yukon, some people from the States, one guy from Florida, some people from Ontario. It was really fun.
Do they generally have maneuverable kayak? Or if you got like a big non-maneuverable one, would it be like, you know what, maybe you shouldn't bother?
We rented kayaks to some people, but some people had, like that one lady had a Delta and she paddled the Delta for the entire time. I think it was like a 17 S or something like that she had, and it isn't like a big super or a short easy to move kayak like what we paddle. It was a Delta, and she did great.
Oh,
She
yeah.
had a great time. Yeah. It's trickier for her to roll that than some of the smaller low back kayaks. I have a question for Siska people. I don't know. Is there much appetite for level 1 instructor course?
I think maybe Anton is on here. I'm not an instructor and I don't really have too much to do with them, but Anton may know more, or who else is on here? Maybe Edgar. I don't know if you want to chip in there. We have, I would say we have about 15 or 20 instructors, not all of whom are active, and I don't know how recent their credentials are. So yeah, even a refresher or something like that, there might be interest in that.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing a refresher, but I also was thinking about running a level 1 instructor course. And I was just going to gauge the appetite on that and see if people want it before the beginning of this season, and maybe offer one here in Victoria.
What would that offer? What would that encompass, Lee? I'm not, and sorry, Alan, I'm not a level 1 instructor. That maybe that's another Anton you were thinking of, but I wish.
Level 1 is solo and assisted rescues, a bunch of strokes, kind of high brace, low brace, high and low brace turns. Actually, I think they took high brace turns out of it now. So low brace turns, like some edging, basically, some navigation. There is a whole synopsis of it on the Paddle Canada website of everything that's in a level 1, or what you would teach in a level 1 course. And you would be being trained to be a level 1 instructor. So you'd be teaching that course. So we would teach you, it's a 5-day course. And over the 5 days, you go from like refining your own strokes and getting them up to like demonstration quality, to teaching lessons and choosing your appropriate classrooms and managing a group in level 1 conditions.
Thanks, Lee. I sorry, Anton, I kind of gave you an upgrade there. I didn't mean to do that. I was thinking of somebody else. You're right. I can tell you, Lee, that I did a little bit of research a few years ago on our membership, and most people had either basic, or they now call it an intro to paddling or something, Paddle Canada, or a level 1. That's their paddling level in the club. We have quite a number of level 2 trained people, but it's not the majority by any means. And then, you know, a sprinkling of level 3s, some level 4s like that. In terms of instructors, if we do, people are instructing the club, we just instruct up to level 1, so we don't go beyond that within the club. And they usually try to run one of those 4, members at least each year, if not 2, if there's interest. But I don't know about the sort of instructor level. We don't do that ourselves. I think people go to people like yourself or other companies to get that, or to get refresher. And I believe too, Paddle Canada requires refresher courses or recertification now at a certain point. So that's going to come into it as well. If you want to pursue that a bit, Ali Morum, do you know Ali?
Yeah, I know Ali.
Yeah, she's the coordinator of the instructors in Siska right now, and she would probably have more current information about what people are into.
Alan?
Yeah.
Jane,
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, I was under the understanding that to be a Paddle 1 instructor, you yourself needed to have Paddle 2. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's right. But you also need to have your instructor certification at Paddle Canada 1, right? That's a different course.
The level 2 skills?
Well, there's your intro, your level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. But then if you're an instructor, you get qualified through a separate course to teach those levels. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And
there's two ways to get your instructor. One is take a course for level 1. It's a 5-day course, or you have to do a mentorship. Doing a mentorship's a little bit trickier at those lower levels. It's probably easier to just go and take the course, because you have to jump through a few hoops to do the mentorship. It would be up to your mentor to do it, but they'd have to take you on a number of courses and watch you teach and stuff. There's a
We have
couple of questions in the chat. Did you want to answer those, Asger?
No, you can go ahead, Lee.
Okay. Yeah, the shop. So there's one question about attending the whitewater course, and the shop isn't open until Thursday. If you want to, if you have questions, you can always email me. Or if you want, you can just direct message me here, and I can give you my phone number, and I can answer questions while the shop's closed until Thursday. There's some information about it online in our store as well. Maybe Asger, you can throw the link up in there for the whitewater day. And they can take a look at that right in the shop. And then there was another question about the skill level of the people in the video. There was a mix at that course. There was everything from probably like a low level 2 all the way up to a level 3 paddler. I would say that some of them were early level 2, and then some of them were a level 3. Yeah, I'd say that about there. For that course, we like to see people with like a level 2 or equivalent experience. And I'd be happy to have a conversation with anyone about that, if they're questioning or not, whether or not they'd fit in there.
And sorry, Lee, do you have an email address that we could contact you to set something up if we wanted to pursue it a bit further? It's Delcy.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, sure. I can give you my email right now.
Okay, that would be great. Thanks.
You can also, we have an email at the start that actually sends emails both to me and
Yeah.
to Lee. So that way you can target both of us.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I'll
post
give you
it in
that
the chat
email
there.
right now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll put it in the chat as well.
Okay.
So it's sales@bestcoastoutfitters.com. That sends the message to both Lee and I.
Oh, both of us put it there. Now you got it twice.
Okay, any more questions for Lee and Asger here? We've got their attention. Okay, if there aren't, I do really suggest that you take a look at their video if you can, just directly by that link, I think, if he's put it in the chat there, because it would be less, there was still a bit of choppiness, although it was better than before, I think. That's a great video, by the way, Lee and Asger.
Yeah,
It
it's
gets you going and gives you the idea what you guys are about. And I think you've made a real contribution already, you know, in sort of aiming for that kind of part of the paddling community and blending a bit, you know, looking at river kayaking and that. It's very cool. So I wish you all success.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us and getting us out here. We've had lots of Siska members come through the store, and we really appreciate everyone engaging with us. The kind of the new kid on the block, it's making it successful. We had a great month in January, actually. January was actually a record month, if you can believe that. So I'm hoping that it stays like that. Asger's doing a great job of managing the store and really making things happen.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for your time tonight. We really appreciate it, and we hope to see more of you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Great
thanks
meeting you all.
everybody.
Hey,
Thank you.
Asger just asked me if we could offer the Siska discount on the whitewater day, and we can do that. If people are interested in it, we'll just make it available with the Siska discount as well.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Great, thanks again.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Thanks again for having us. Thanks, Alan, for
Okay.
organizing this.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll
Thanks,
just let
guys.
everybody sign off. We'll stop our recording. And if you hear somebody who isn't on